Cyber warfare has evolved from isolated digital skirmishes to a persistent global threat, with past attacks like Stuxnet and NotPetya serving as warning shots for what could become a full-scale cyber Pearl Harbor. The next phase of this conflict will introduce threats that could fundamentally reshape security, privacy, and even the nature of warfare itself. 3 emerging technologies are poised to rewrite the rules of cyber conflict. First, quantum computing acts like a master key capable of unlocking every digital safe simultaneously. Current encryption protecting everything from bank transactions to military communications relies on math problems too complex for conventional computers, but quantum machines using Shor's algorithm could crack these codes in minutes. Imagine waking up to find every state secret from the past 30 years suddenly decrypted, or hackers intercepting real-time financial transfers with no way to stop them. The US government is already stockpiling encrypted data it can't read today, but hopes to decrypt once quantum systems mature. This quantum threat extends beyond stolen data to the very foundations of trust online. The digital signatures verifying software updates, passports, and even military orders depend on the same vulnerable cryptography. A breakthrough. Quantum computer could let attackers impersonate government officials or push malicious firmware to power plants and water systems. While researchers race to develop quantum-resistant encryption, transitioning global systems will take decades, a dangerous window adversaries won't ignore. Second, space infrastructure presents an orbital weak point in global security. Modern life depends on satellites for navigation, banking timestamps, and emergency communications, yet these systems remain surprisingly vulnerable. When hackers knocked out Viasat's satellite internet during Russia's Ukraine invasion, they didn't need futuristic tech, just compromised ground station passwords. More concerning are Inspector satellites, like those Russia and China have tested, which could physically approach and tamper with other spacecraft. As private companies launch thousands of new satellites, the attack surface expands beyond what any military can monitor. Third, artificial intelligence is creating automated hackers that learn and adapt in real time. Future AI attacks might coordinate millions of compromised devices as a single swarm, probing defenses and concentrating firepower where resistance is weakest. The same machine learning that helps weather apps predict storms could enable attackers to anticipate security patrols at a power plant. Deepfake technology adds psychological warfare to this mix. During Ukraine's elections, AI-generated audio nearly derailed a campaign with fake concession speeches. More dangerously, forged emergency alerts or military orders could trigger real-world conflicts. These technological threats converge on our increasingly connected world. The 2023 casino hack through an internet-connected fish tank thermometer wasn't just quirky. It revealed how any smart device can become an entry point. Security firms now track over 1.5 billion IoT attacks annually, many targeting medical devices and factory equipment that lack basic password protection. Meanwhile, criminal and hacktivist groups now wield capabilities once reserved for nations. The Conti ransomware group paralyzed Ireland's healthcare system, while environmental extremists have plotted attacks on gas pipeline controls. Defenses struggle to keep pace. Traditional security models assume clear network boundaries, but modern systems blend corporate networks, cloud services, and supplier connections. Zero-trust architectures help, but require overhauls most organizations haven't completed. Compounding this, 3.5 million cybersecurity jobs sit unfilled worldwide, especially in critical areas like power plant security that require both IT and engineering expertise. Attackers exploit these gaps, knowing many targets are understaffed. International tensions raise the stakes further. Major powers now openly treat cyber operations as military tools. China's doctrine calls for integrated network electronic warfare, while Russia uses hacks for strategic deterrence. Future conflicts may begin with silent digital strikes before any shots are fired, with unclear rules for response. When Russia attacked Ukraine's grid in 2015, the UN could only issue statements. There's still no international consensus on what constitutes cyber warfare. Economic systems are increasingly weaponized too. North Korea's hackers reportedly generate half the regime's foreign currency through crypto theft and ransomware. The 2023 attack on China's largest bank disrupted global treasury markets, showing how financial systems are interconnected targets. Supply chain attacks have surged 400% since the SolarWinds breach, with hackers poisoning software updates and hardware components to bypass defenses. Critical infrastructure remains alarmingly exposed. 60% of U.S. utilities still mix corporate and control networks despite years of warnings. Hospitals run life support systems on unsupported Windows XP because manufacturers won't provide updates. Climate change compounds these risks. Hackers already pose as relief agencies after disasters, and future attacks could disable flood warning systems during hurricanes. Looking ahead, cyber conflict will likely replace traditional warfare for many geopolitical disputes. Why risk soldiers when malware can disable a nation's power grid? This calculus lowers conflict thresholds while increasing escalation risks, especially when attribution is difficult. We're entering an era where hospitals might revert to paper records not by choice, but after repeated cyber attacks. Two futures are possible. In one, nations establish cyber arms control agreements and shared defenses. In the other, we face constant digital skirmishes periodically erupting into infrastructure collapses. The path depends on whether countries can cooperate despite rising tensions, and whether societies will prioritize security without sacrificing fundamental freedoms. The solution requires more than technology. Redundant systems, workforce training, and contingency planning matter as much as firewalls. Ukraine's energy grid survived later Russian attacks through decentralization and manual overrides, proven strategies in an unproven time. Ultimately, cybersecurity must become like Cold War military readiness, sustained and vigilant, not reactive. Humanity faces a defining challenge. Can we govern the technologies we've created? Future historians may judge this decade as when we either mastered digital weapons or were overwhelmed by them. The front lines are everywhere now, and the next major attack could begin anywhere, at any moment. Will we be ready when it does? Cyber warfare has evolved from theory to strategic reality, with Stuxnet and NotPetya proving digital weapons can cause physical destruction and global chaos. These attacks rival conventional warfare in impact, yet with far less accountability. The coming decade will test whether nations can establish rules for this new battlefield. AI and quantum computing will accelerate attacks while outdated infrastructure remains vulnerable. Without cooperation, we risk constant cyber conflicts erupting into full-blown crises. The time to act is now. Will we prepare before systems fail?